Okay, we are live. Hello. This is I don't know how many of these we've done now.
I don't know.
Is this 6, 7?
Probably, I think 6. Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're on.
We are continuing our journey through the Thousand Nights and One Night, the Arabian Nights, and I'm lucky to be joined again by James at Quaint and Curious Volumes, where we have been looking at nights 208 to 277.
Yes.
And that leaves me probably about a third of the way from my second volume. You're still on your first volume, I think, aren't you? You have the penguin.
Very nearly finished with the
Oh,
first.
yeah. We're going to get to volume 2. We have. Yep, it's about 3,000 pages in mine. I don't know how many pages it is in yours overall. That's Elaine anyway. Hello, Elaine.
Roughly the same. Yeah, roughly the same. Hello, Elaine. Thanks for joining.
But 277, we're nearly 30% of the way through.
Yeah. Although some of the nights are 20 pages and some of them are less than 1 page. So
now, before we sort of go through the bits, I'd be interested to know. I have a few nights here which they skip, and I had a note in the text that say that the nights are there, but they're very fragmented, and therefore they've just rolled them up into one. So at one point I go from 212 to 216, and then 216 to 219 without seeing the intervening nights.
That's interesting. No, I've got 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, and they're all sizable. So yours might have been from a different manuscript. Here was an unusual. So there is one night that skipped in the Lyons translation, and there's a footnote to it, and I will never be able to find it. But it says, and I found it. Okay, it's night 261, and it says there is no night 261 in the Calcutta 2 text. So that was the source for the Lyons translation.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I've got night 261.
Mm-hmm. So now maybe they did what Burton did, and apparently Burton's has the same numbering as the Lyons translation up to that one, and then he just uses the reasonable numbering and adjusts. So Lyons and Burton are out of sync by 1 from this point forward.
Okay, that might cause us issues later. Well, we'll just have to go with what the actual story's doing rather than what we are seeing exactly. We have Sean D. Stanfast in the house.
Hi,
Hello, Sean.
The founder of this journey.
Of the feast.
Yes, the founder of the feast, exactly.
I've got a recipe coming up in today's one.
Oh boy, I think I know the one you're thinking of.
Yeah. Sarah says that's interesting. I love seeing how the versions differ. Yeah, I mean that is interesting. It's probably a bit scary to find that out in a live setting, but we may end up talking at cross purposes. But I think generally we have the same stories here.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just odd how they've treated some of the nights. I mean, it says that they haven't missed anything out. They just rolled them up. But if you have sizable chunks of text and mine were condensed, that's that may come out.
So, I mean, I believe that section you were talking about is all in the middle of the. It's not Aladdin. It's the story of Aladdin. Is that right? And
well, 261 is bear with me. Knight 69, 267, 57. Oh no. 61st night. Yes, that is a tale of Ala al-Din and Abu Shamat.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ala al-Din Abu Shamat.
Yeah.
It's just the one guy. We just call him Abu Shamat, don't we? Or mine does.
I think so, yeah. And there's yeah, so okay. Do we want to start talking about the stories then? Because
yeah.
Mhm.
To begin with, we continue the story of the tale of Kamar al-Zaman and Princess Badur.
Yeah.
Don't know if the names are different in yours.
They're the same.
And we were halfway through that, or partway through that.
It seemed pretty strange at the time. And then it got stranger.
It got stranger, yes. But we did have the reintroduction of magic, which was quite fun. Mm-hmm. So we have a couple of genies and and their magic powers. But the story of this so far, up to the point where we start tonight, is that we have two incredibly narcissistic youths who have been brought together by these genies, basically to settle a bet over who is more attractive. Both of them have been turning down suitors left, right, and center in their respective kingdoms. They're both scions of royalty, but they fall for each other. But they look almost exactly alike.
Yes.
Strangeness number one.
Right.
But they're then separated again, and they start pining for each other. Kamar al-Zaman goes off venturing to find her. And he does, and there's shenanigans, but they are now making their way back to his kingdom, where his father, who thinks he is dead, to say, surprise, and also, I'm married.
Right.
That brings us to night 208. They have been separated on their way back, and she has a certain piece of jewelry.
Or underpants jewelry.
Underpants jewelry. It sounds like some sort of weird garter arrangement, but it's got a carnelian trinket or something. Yes. And he takes it out of the tent to look at it, and it gets taken by a bird. He follows the bird. We find out he's no good at archery, and he follows this bird for 10 days and 10 nights, then turns around and says, "Oh, I'm lost." Effectively.
Right.
I mean, that's not quite how the story tells it, but
no,
that's the only way I can interpret it.
Yes.
But he finds himself in this place where there is a gardener who takes him under his wing.
Right.
And this gardener is quite an elderly guy. He's, I think he says he's 90 at some point. But he takes a liking to Kamar al-Zaman and says, right, don't worry, we're going to get you to the Ebony Isle, which is the place apparently he must go if he thinks he's going to get reunited with Princess Badur. Because I think that's where they were going to.
Yes.
Or it was on their way. It wasn't the final destination. Princess Badur realizes that Kamar is no longer there, but carries on regardless. Doesn't stay and wait for him to return. She just, I'm continuing on the journey.
Right.
She ends up at the Ebony Isle, and
well, I think when she realizes that he's gone, her first thought isn't, "We ought to find my husband." It's, "I'm probably going to have to pretend to be my husband so that no one will think that I am just an unaccompanied woman out here in the middle of nowhere, just with servants and guards and all that."
Yeah. So it's at this point,
yes,
where it's quite handy that she looks very much like her husband.
Yes.
So yes, she presents herself to the court of the Ebony Island as Kamar.
Yes.
The king takes an immediate liking to him, her,
yes,
and says, "I want you to marry my daughter."
Yeah.
Always happening, but and they get together.
Yes.
There's no way of there's no pretense, no way of sort of trying to dissemble this or string things along. It's just like, yeah, okay, sure. I better do this, otherwise people are going to get annoyed.
Right.
So this other princess, Hayat al-Nufus, and Princess Budur, in the disguise of Kamar as the man, get married. And they start a physical relationship.
Yes.
But the parents are upset because the marriage isn't consummated.
Right.
That they can see. Basically, they're expected to see blood on the sheet. No blood appears.
Yes.
So Budur, then Princess Budur tells the whole story to Hayat that says, don't worry, because when Kamar comes along, he's absolutely brilliant. You're going to want to marry him too. We'll both be married to him.
Right.
In the meantime, let's keep things going as they do, and there's a little bit of subterfuge, so they continue the pretense to everybody's satisfaction.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back in the garden, Kamar finds the underwear jewelry.
Yes.
Basically, he sees a bird and he sees another bird attack it. The birds fight, and one of the birds drops dead at his feet. The breast of the bird is opened, and there is the trinket which the thieving bird had taken. Now, this is the point where I skip a couple of nights. So stop me if I miss something.
Okay.
But before long, Kamar also then finds buried treasure at the gardener's premises.
Right.
Why the gardener, in his 90 years, has not found it previously, because he didn't really have to look very far for it. But nonetheless, there are, I think, sort of 20 barrels full of treasure. Goes to the gardener and says, "We're rich." But they're not, it's not realized gains yet. What they need to do is go and basically show their wealth. So, they've got to exchange it for something a little more tangible than the jewels and whatever it is that they've got. So in order to get it transported by ship, they decide that it's obviously silly to turn up with all of these caskets full of jewelry and treasures. We'll disguise it as food. So they put a bunch of olives and other foodstuffs, a layer of it on top of each of these barrels, and basically act like they are transporting some foodstuff to the Ebony Island.
Yes.
They're very trusting of the sailors, because they give the sailors the cargo first and then say, "We'll be along shortly." These people do go all in their decisions.
Yes, they do.
The gardener takes it upon himself to expire at this point. Kamar is upset and performs all of the funeral rites, buries him with all applicable honors, but takes his time over it, and by doing so misses the departure of the ship. So decides to go back to the garden and just continue to be a gardener. He's not
right. Yeah. He's got nothing else going on. Yeah.
Well, doesn't think to charter another ship or
no, right.
put the word out or anything like that. He just goes back to the place. The ship continues to the Emerald Island. No one's bothered to check this cargo. No one seems to have noticed that, oh, you know, these are a bit heavy for olives. But when they get there, because Princess Budur knows that Kamar is about, every time a ship arrives, she looks for Kamar, even though at that point she is Kamar.
Right.
But she gets distracted by this food. Oh, it looks very nice. She overpays for it. Don't quite know why. But when she scrapes away the olives from the top, she finds that there is treasure underneath. And the first thing, or nearly the first thing she sees, is her underwear jewelry.
Yes.
So she makes a few leaps of logic and decides that this must be sent by Kamar. Not, you know, Kamar got mugged or murdered.
Right.
So she sends the ship back saying, I recognize the way these olives have been prepared. These olives were made by my cook who absconded basically after sexually assaulting a kitchen boy.
Yes.
So she immediately doesn't make his life any easier.
No.
The sailors, on pain of banishment, never being able to dock or trade there again, are told to go back, bring that cook back to Kamar, Princess Budur. And they go and fetch him. And here's where it starts to get really weird.
Oh, here, yes.
So they get him, they bring him to the Emerald, basically, and they accuse him, or they pass on the accusation that's been leveled against him. He thinks, you know, what now? What have I done wrong here? So,
right.
I mean, he's pretty justifiably bewailing his state a little bit, but he is sure of his innocence and the truth will out.
Sure.
Do you want to take it up from here?
So it's been a while since I read this, but what eventually happens is his wife, Kamar, is still presenting to him as, I guess she doesn't introduce herself as I am Kamar, but she's just, I think she's been appointed basically the king of the Ebony Isles by the still living king of the Ebony Isles. So, but she says, okay, you're going to, if you want to live, basically, you have to have homosexual relations with me. And she spends a lot of time trying to convince him by reciting a homoerotic poetry, which is very...
It is a bit of a rap battle they have.
Yes, and he's not that into it because, well, he's married and straight, but you know, he's in a tight spot, so he eventually says, all right, well, just this one time, I suppose.
But he also admits at that point, you know, he's got a little bit of interest as well.
Sure, I'm flattered and maybe a bit curious, but yes.
So yeah, he's caught between a dichotomy of, you know, saving his ass or saving his ass, basically.
Yes, exactly. So they go about it, and I've forgotten quite all the details, but it becomes clear that this is not a man that is.
I had a brief look through this earlier today. It had been a while as well. But when his fingers go exploring, he finds a dome, but no minaret.
Okay, yeah. There you go. Yeah, okay. So it becomes clear this is his. I guess she reveals herself as, I am actually your wife. Surprise, surprise, and not a man who is forcing you to have sex with me. And so they go to the still living king of the Ebony Isles, Arminus, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And she says, and so far this king has been perfectly pleased with Kamar and with Budor, who he thinks is Kamar. He's married his daughter, and she says, "Look, this is actually Kamar. I'm his wife, and yeah, I've been married to your daughter, but this is how it is." And he says, "Well, I mean, that's fine. He's pretty good looking too, so I'll marry my daughter to him, and he can be the king. Because I mean, one Kamar's as good as another." And Kamar Badur, the wife, says, "Okay, that's fine. I will stay married to my husband. He'll have 2 wives, including the one who was my wife, and I'll be her servant, basically. And yeah, we'll all be perfectly happy together, ruling the Ebony Isles, the 3 of us."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think in this day and age, the tabloids would have a field day.
They would.
Because this has all been written down as well. This is, all the court proceedings are written down, and people don't forget a thing like a royal wedding.
Right.
So by coming clean to the king, they now they're going to have to come clean to the entire country and say, "Oh, by the way, we all thought it was a bloke. It's not."
Yes. Remember that big royal wedding? Remember all this stuff? All right. Then things start to get weird. I know you said that
already. Yes, Elaine. I can't remember exactly how it was described. It is some kind of talisman thing, isn't it? I don't know if it's just like a chain that goes around the waist with a jewel on it, or whether it's some kind of garter or some sort of ancient Arabian vajazzle. It's not quite made clear in my book. But we do have a little bit between, so that's the end of that tale. And before we begin the next tale, I've got a little bit where we draw back to the top level story again of Scheherazade is telling this series of tales to King Shahryar. What you've got to remember in that layer of tales is that all the time that Scheherazade and Shahryar are there, Scheherazade's little sister is also with them.
Right.
Every night.
Yes.
I mean, she's the ultimate gooseberry. And she's blushing at this point because this tale is so ribald. But the king is well into it.
Yes.
Not only does he want more tales of this type, he also wants to know more about this unknown pastime. So yeah, tell me more of the homosexuality.
Yes, right.
And Scheherazade says, well, I will do, but first, the tale of Happy Handsome and Happy Fair.
Hold on a second. I don't think I have that in my
different names in your translation.
Possibly so.
Oh, it gets even weirder yet.
Yes.
Elaine.
Yes.
So, Happy Handsome is this powerful merchant's son, or he's a powerful public figure. And Happy Fair is the daughter of a slave that they buy. Basically, they buy a slave. The slave has a child. They give the girl child to the boy child and say, "This is your slave."
Yes.
And he's called Happy Handsome. She's called Happy Fair. But they grow up almost as if they're brother and sister. But they fall in love, and they get. I think it's married.
I think so. Yes.
But the governor of the province that they live in decides, because obviously, I mean, I don't know why we bother sort of saying it each time, but obviously they grow up and they're absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
We would just sort of take that as read until someone who is ugly, and then we'll make a note of it. But yeah, because she is so beautiful, and because they don't know about the relationship, the Khalifa's governor of that province decides to abduct Happy Fair and deliver her as a gift to the ruler. And to do that, he gets an old crone to help him, who disguises herself as some sort of saintly figure. They take pity on her, take her into their house, allow her space to pray and what have you, and she wheedles her way into their confidence over the next month. Bish Bash Bosh betrays her, gets Happy Fair kidnapped. She's taken off to Damascus. Happy Handsome finds out that this has happened. He's in despair. They send for a doctor. I have a Persian doctor. It's a doctor or a scientist or a prognosticator. He's a little bit of everything, this guy. But he comes along, realizes what's wrong through magic. Basically, he sort of I can't remember exactly what he does, but it's the equivalent of casting the runes, and says, right, I know where she is. Because this family are intensely gullible, having just lost one member of the family, he says, the doctor goes to the parents and says, give me loads of money, I'm taking the son to Damascus. Luckily, he's on the level, so he's not trying to hoodwink anybody. But they go, well, he's not trying to hoodwink anybody except everyone who lives in Damascus.
Right. Oh,
yes. They go to Damascus disguised as merchants or doctors or a bit of both. This is a doctor who can tell what's wrong with anyone just by looking at their piss. And he very quickly establishes a reputation for himself as, you know, the expert, this doctor.
Yep.
Happy Fair, who has been kidnapped, is also in despond, and they don't know what's wrong with her. They never bother to ask her. And then they never bother to do a background check. You know, where have we taken her from? Was she married, etc., etc. But her, was it nurse, nanny, keeper? I don't know what she is, but the old woman who is basically tasked with looking after Happy Fair decides to go and find some medicine, finds a doctor and Happy Handsome. They fairly quickly realize who the patient is that they're talking about and contrive to get a message to her. She also absolutely falls in love. The older lady sort of gets quite besotted with Happy Handsome and realizes what's going on and says, right, well, we've got to get you two back together. So Happy Handsome decides to infiltrate the stronghold, the castle in Damascus. He must dress as a woman. So in the last story, we had a woman dressed as a man. Here we've got the opposite. So dresses as a woman, passes as a woman, meets the daughter of the Khalifa or the sister of, I can't remember the exact relation, but basically a member of the royal family. She finds out what's going on. She takes their side. And it all gets wrapped up pretty quickly. There's no, again, it's one of these stories where you finish reading it and go, okay, and the moral of that was. It was an odd little interlude. It's very short compared to the stories that it sits between. And I'm not sure it adds that much to the proceedings.
Okay. So what happens after that story in your edition?
This would be a very odd TV series, sure.
Yes.
I
Does
think
this
probably do
does
something
this
on the Adult Swim cartoons or something. You could probably
Hmm.
do something on that kind of level.
right?
So after that, we go back to the framing story again, and the king is insistent that he still wants a story with some homosexuality, if you wouldn't mind. So she obliges him with, and he goes. So mine goes straight into the tale of Ala al-Din Abu Shamat. What is yours?
Okay, so your version skips a very strange extension of the Kamar and Budor story.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have this triad established, and both of the wives of Kamar get pregnant. Budor and Hayat. Hayat, is it?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
right. And they both have sons, and as you might imagine, both extremely handsome, very accomplished, very strong, powerful youths. And they grow up, and Budor falls in love with the son of Hayat. Guess what else happens? Hayat falls in love with the son of Budor.
Okay.
And so at about the same time, they hit on this idea. Well, I mean, sure, I'm already married, but maybe I should just have a fling with my stepson. So they each write notes and send them with slaves to the cross stepson saying, hey, what do you think? And both of the sons, unbeknownst to everyone seemingly not communicating about this, they kill the slaves who deliver these messages and are enraged. But before they can go to their father, the king, Kamar, the two wives go to him and say, on their own, each independently, my stepson, your other wife's son, has forced himself on me and raped me. My God. And so the king says, well, he becomes enraged. Kamar becomes enraged and says, all right, well, my sons are no good. They're trying to each rape their stepmothers. He tells his treasurer, take these two guys out in the desert and murder them both. So for this great crime, he sends one guy, an accountant, to go and take care of business. And so he leads them out into the desert and has a sort of change of heart at the last minute and kind of, I think, gets their clothes and soaks it in lion's blood and says, you guys go off and do something else and say nothing of this. And he comes back and he has their clothes soaked in blood and he shows them to the king, and the king is like, all right, well, that's settled then. And the two sons go and have pages and pages of adventures, including being taken captive by Magians, who are apparently some kind of magicians who have a whole city to themselves. And one of them becomes an assistant to a king, and the other I've forgotten all the details of this, but it's apparently
absolutely cheated by the Matthew translation.
Not in your version. So, I mean, I guess this is some of the bowdlerization that we hear about. Some of these things that get taken out because
it was too spicy even for this. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So it does sound like it's gone a little bit sort of Jerry Springer. But,
it does. It does. Eventually, the Kamar goes through these old blood-soaked clothes, like years later, perhaps, and finds the letters from his two wives to the stepsons proposing this, and he's like, I've been fooled, and he goes searching for his sons. who by this point, after various peregrinations that you can imagine, they have become reunited in this city where one of them is like basically a vizier. And there's this scene where like they're outside of the city, and when an army is approaching in the Arabian Nights, there's like a big cloud of dust on the horizon. It comes closer, and there's 500,000 men with swords arrive. And then at some point, 4 different armies at the same time converge on this one spot. And
how can they afford? Oh, yeah. We'll skip the bit with the 4 armies laying siege to the city. No one's going to be interested in that.
But it ends with the king, the king being reunited with his 2 sons. Nothing else is said about Bador or Hayat, so who knows what actually happens to them. But so hold on a second. Another thing. This isn't all of it. Before, just as they're being reunited, there is a Magian who has captured one of the 2 brothers, and the 2 stepbrothers, and sort of when they've been reunited, the tables have turned on him, and they're going to execute him. And he says, you know what? I convert to Islam, and I'm going to take you back to your father. That's what I'm going to do. And they're like, yeah, okay. Generally, when in the Arabian Nights, when someone has been condemned to be executed, they don't just get to say, well, I'm converting to Islam, and let's go do this other thing instead. And everyone says, okay, but that's what happens. And he says, but let me tell you this story first. And he tells the story of Happy, well, you call it, your version is Happy Fair and Happy Handsome. It's called like Nima and Numa in this version. But anyway, so
I'm gonna have to go and find. I'll go on to Gutenberg and get the Burton version, because I want to read this now.
I'm sure Burton will make much of the.
I don't think he would have authorized anything. I feel absolutely cheated now. But that's crazy that all of that happened and they decided to cut it. That's very odd.
Well, thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy, and go and catch James's afterwards as well. And thank you, Sandy, again. That's unexpected and very generous.
Yes, indeed.
But we are now back aligned with the tale of Aladdin Abu Shamat.
Yes.
We just call him Abu for a bit.
That's fine.
So, Scheherazade is now telling another tale. This is a merchant in Cairo who has been unable to sire a son. He only has the one wife, which is unusual, but she's getting past the childbearing age, and he basically has a go at her because she's not been able to give him a son. And she turns around and says, "It's your fault. Your balls are too cold."
Well, hold on a second.
Your eggs. Sorry.
My version is your sperm is too watery.
There's that as well, but that bit, that's because of the temperature of his eggs. So he is told. She tells him that there is, go and take a medicine to basically, thicken your sap. So he goes around all of the pharmacists in Cairo, all the apothecaries, asking for this, Arabian Viagra, and they will laugh at him. It doesn't exist. Go away. But he then finds he's not a drunk. Oh, he's a drug addict. He's an opium and hashish taker who knows him like from way back. Says, "I've got you. in what the internet will now call this one weird trick. So here is the recipe for the 1001 Nights Viagra. 2 ounces Chinese cubebs, 1 ounce of fat extract of Ionian hemp, 1 ounce of fresh cloves, 1 ounce of red cinnamon, 10 drachms, I don't know what a drachm is, white Malabar cardamoms, 5 drachms of Indian ginger, 5 drachms of white pepper, 5 drachms of pimento, 1 ounce of star anise, half an ounce of mountain thyme. That's the herb and not the time zone. Pound this all up, add pure honey, add some musk, 5 grains of musk, and 10 ounces of fish roe, and then rose water to make it taste a little bit better. Now you've got to drink this, but 3 days before you drink it, you eat nothing but roasted pigeon, liberally spiced, fish cooked in its cream, and lightly fried ram's eggs. So lamb fries. What did Sean call it the other day? Mountain oysters. Whatever you want to call it. Basically, lamb's testicles. And
yes,
he does this.
This is not medical advice. Anyone watching this, not medical. Gavin and I are not professional doctors.
However, if this does work, do let us know. Let us know in the comments. Uh-oh, watch out.
Yes.
Different. Well, yeah, we especially got to be careful when it comes to the recipes, when it comes to the different words. But yes, you know, someone has.
Yeah.
Someone. I don't know if it will be on YouTube, but if it's going to be anywhere, it will be on YouTube.
Yeah, probably. Maybe TikTok.
I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at that thinking, well, do you know what? There's nothing in that. I don't know what a Chinese cubeb is.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything in there that's going to kill you. God knows what it tastes like. And they don't say how much honey to add, for example.
Right.
But there you go. However, he follows these. He follows this prescription, and it works. And 9 months later, Abu Shamat is born. So okay, we've just spoken for 10 minutes about it. The protagonist of the story has now arrived as a child.
Yes.
But then we. Well, you just have to let them know about the catch up. So, what the merchant doesn't do is market the hell out of this potion. He just keeps that to himself. He also keeps the child to himself. Abu Shamat is, you'll be shocked to learn, incredibly handsome.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep him away from society, lest anyone give him the evil eye.
Give him the evil eye.
They're really worried about the evil eye.
Definitely.
Basically, this son is very precious to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep him in the basement.
Right. Yes.
And that seems to work.
Yeah.
14 years. But then some foolish servant leaves the door ajar, and basically he realizes there's an outside world. The outside world realizes that all the servants realize that, oh, there's this kid that's been here the whole time. Right. Now that the secret's out, let's get him into society. He's obviously past the age. He's now at the age of puberty, where presumably the evil eye can't hurt him no more.
Mm-hmm.
And so the merchant takes Abu Shamat to his place of work the next day to teach him the trade, because he's going to inherit all of this immense wealth.
Yes.
All of the other merchants jumps to the conclusion that basically he's hired this boy. They have never seen the son before.
Mm-hmm.
And the rumor starts, he's taken this boy as his lover.
Yeah.
That gets cleared up pretty quickly. Basically, he sees the old opium addict and says, "No, don't you remember? You gave me this recipe 15 years ago."
Yep.
And in his drug-addled state, apparently he does remember this, and then goes around and tells everyone, no, that's his son because of the cloves and the ginger and the honey and the pounding.
Yeah, so they're all like, well, this guy says so.
Yeah. They're very quick to accuse, but equally quick to forgive. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
But they say, right, if he's your son, we need I mean, I want to say bar mitzvah, but that's completely wrong. But basically, the equivalent. He's going to have, he's got his prom, he's got his coming out party, he's, his sweet 16, whatever you want to call it. Let's invite all the merchants and all the friends, and also this famous pederast. Because what livens up a party? We've already got the balloon modeler, we've got the clown. Let's get the pedophile, or paedophile for British viewers. God. Oh, goodbye to all any kind of algorithmic push.
Exactly.
Anyway, he's called Mahmoud Bilateral. What's he called in yours?
I would have to look it up. I don't remember. Oh, I'm way past it. Continue on. I will try and find what he was called.
So they have this party, and Abu Shamat, as we've said, very handsome. Mahmoud Bilateral, as we've said, has his proclivities. He becomes attracted by Abu Shamat, and he manages to goad Abu Shamat's friends. He seems to have acquired friends in this last 24 hours. Basically, he gets his friends to goad Abu Shamat into wanting to travel outside of the city. Basically, they take the mick out of him because he doesn't know anything about the outside world because he was only allowed outside the house the day before. But basically, oh, you haven't seen this, you haven't seen that. So Abu Shamat says, right, well, I want to go to Damascus. So talks to his father. His father says, okay, you've been you've been working in the shop for one day. You understand the trade intimately. I'm going to send you to Damascus with a whole caravan, 50 camels, servants, all the goods, the lot. And off he goes. Also traveling, not with them, but a little distance behind, Mahmoud Bilateral.
Mahmoud Balki is what he's called in this
Balki. Okay.
Yes, he's described as outwardly a Muslim, but secretly a Magian with a fondness for depravity, who loved boys. So.
Well, he's not secretly. Well, I mean, he's secretly something, but he's not secretly a Magian in this book.
Right.
I don't know what you're. So there's this whole other group of people, the Magians, who just aren't appearing in here. Nothing to do with the Magi, is it?
Maybe they do have to do with the Magi.
Oh, okay. I shall have to have a look into this. But Bilateral starts traveling. The old servant says, look, you said to Abu Shamat, you really don't want to be mixing with him, but he is too prudish to tell him why. Abu Shamat, he's an innocent, shall we say. Kind way of saying he's thick. But decides, I'll go and meet with Bilateral, be that, and he makes advances. Abu Shamat rejects the advances, decides that, you know what, we're not traveling with you anymore. I'm going to go on alone. This is also against the advice of his sort of old retainer stroke guardian, who says, we can't be traveling this part of the road so near to Baghdad at night. There are bandits. We're going to get slaughtered. Abu Shamat says, no, we're not. Guess what? They are.
Yep.
everyone. So the whole caravan is stolen away. All of the servants, all of the retainers, guardians, etc., are killed, except Abu Shamat, who escapes with literally the shirt on his back and nothing else.
Yep.
Right outside Baghdad, gets into Baghdad, finds somewhere, a doorway to sleep in, and then gets woken up the next morning because he's been found by Mahmud Balatrov, who does nothing to him except basically help him.
Yeah.
Which, firstly, thank God.
Yes.
Secondly, there's a whole lot of build-up for nothing happening.
So Magian is a Zoroastrian.
Right. Okay.
So you would see why the Muslims would not like them, but yes, they're ascribed to have some strange, wicked powers in some of these stories. Anyway.
That's basically what the English and the French have been saying about each other for the last 1,000 years. I wouldn't put too much on it. So, he basically gets a new suit of clothes, and he's the man about town in Baghdad. I think he's been given 1,000 dinars. So he's basically going to try to work his passage back to Cairo, whatever it is he's planning to do. But it takes a twist. He's stopped and he meets with two strangers, a man and his son. And my knowledge of old Islamic divorce law is sketchy.
Yes.
But basically, a man can divorce a woman, like, finally, if he does it 3 times. But it isn't like, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. You don't say it in rapid succession. You say it. There is a period of reflection. You either get back together again, or you say it again. Another period of reflection. You say it again, and then that's it.
Yes.
Unless. And there's a couple of rules, but one of these rules involves something called an unbinder. Basically, if the woman takes another man as her husband, and that man divorces her, she's then free to go back to the first husband. The people he's met are in that sort of situation. Basically, he's divorced her for the 3rd time. He didn't mean to. He now can't take her back. I don't know if he miscounted. But basically, he said that we're going to give you 10,000 dinars if you sleep with her tonight, but divorce her in the morning.
Right.
And he says, yeah.
Yes. This is just the kind of opportunity I've been looking for.
So he meets Zubaydah. When they meet, first off, the son is really uneasy about this because he's divorced her, but he doesn't want anyone else to have her. And through the intervention of a servant woman, she tells both Abu Shamat and Zubaydah. The other one's got leprosy. You won't want to sleep with them. But they're hidden behind curtains. But they do poetry so well, they realise that they can't have leprosy.
Right, obviously.
And to prove it, they disrobe.
Right.
And okay, neither of us have leprosy. Also, we're now naked.
Right. Yeah. May as well.
Nature takes its course.
Yes.
And in the morning, he decides he doesn't want to divorce her, but he's going to forfeit twice as much money as he's going to get.
He's on the hook for a dowry now. Yes.
Yeah. But she persuades him to say to the sort of the magistrate or the adjudicator, whatever it is, basically flirt with him. Not Zubaydah flirting with him. Abu Shamat flirt with the old guy in order to get extra time to pay the debt. So he does that, and he gets 10 days to pay it.
Yeah.
They've got 1,000 dinars between them. So what they do, instead of putting that towards solving their issues, they decide, no, 100 dinars. They've got 100 dinars left. Instead of putting that towards beginning to sort their issues out, they decide to have a big blowout meal instead and have lots of music. And whereas we've been saying each time, and here's where it gets weird, here's where it actually gets real, because some real people turn up. So the return of Harun al-Rashid, Caliph of Baghdad.
Yes.
Return of Jafar.
Jafar al-Barmecide.
Jafar from the Aladdin story, basically, old evil Jafar, who isn't evil here. So Jafar's a good guy. He's the vizier. Also, Abu Nuwas.
Yes.
Now, I want to talk about Abu Nuwas, but I want to wait until next time, because we've got a tale of Abu Nuwas coming up.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of homosexuality in the tales of this section.
Yes.
And he was thought to be not only a homosexual at that time, but also a corrupting influence on Harun al-Rashid's son. None of this happens in this tale, but he's there as a personage. But thematically, it's sort of linked in, and there's a whole bunch of his poetry. I've been looking at little bits of it. He's an interesting character, which we can possibly get to next month. Yes, sort of. It gets weirder, this story, later.
It does.
So, sorry, I'm going on. Do you want to take it for a bit, or?
No, you go ahead. You're doing an excellent job.
So, Harun al-Rashid, Jafar, and Abu Nuwas don't turn up as the Caliph. Why would they do that? They're in disguise. They're in disguise as, I think, dervishes.
Yes, they've done this before.
Yeah. No one's figured it out yet. It's like Quran. It's like it takes years to figure out the whole bloodied robe trick, even though he played it on his father sort of decades before. But so they turn up, and basically they love hearing Zubayda's, is that her name? Love hearing her voice. She's lovely. It's brilliant. They hear the tale of woe and say, "Don't worry, our religious order has lots of money. We'll see you okay. Before the 10 days is up, you'll get it."
Right.
Very shortly afterwards, a whole caravan arrives, a replacement caravan, supposedly from Cairo, from Abu Shamat's father, who says, "Heard about your marriage. Can't wait to meet the missus. Here are some more camels. Here's some more stock. Here's 50,000 dinars. And also, as a gift, this slave who delivered the message."
Right.
Now, this has been given to them by Harun al-Rashid. But as we've already established, Abu Shamat is a bit thick and hasn't realized there's no way the news can have traveled from Damascus, Cairo, and back again in this intervening time, unless that there's one way it could, which we'll come to later, but that isn't
yes.
So first thing he does, now that he's got all of this wealth, does he try to get the business back up and running? No, he goes out and spends 10,000 dinars on the most attractive slave woman he can find, because one wife just isn't enough.
Right.
And here we do have someone who's ugly.
Yes.
Now, in this one, he's called Big Bloat.
He's called like Bazazam or something.
Oh, okay. Well, Big Bloat, he's called here. He's the son of a rich man who is basically an uncouth youth. He's there, and they get into a bidding war, which is why he ends up spending 10,000 dinars on Yasamin, the slave woman. And they take umbrage that they've been beaten in the auction and vow to take revenge. they do this. His father is like is a judge or something, or he's high up in the court.
Yeah.
And he replaces the chief of police with the most notorious burglar in Cairo.
Yes.
And say, right, we're letting you out of prison, but you've got to find a way to get this slave girl back to our place, away from him. So he does that and more. Basically, he ends up robbing Harun al-Rashid as well, and hiding lots of the stuff, but not all of the stuff, because he keeps some for himself, hiding a lot of it at Abu Shamat's place. So not only do this family with big blokes end up with Yasmina, the slave girl, but they also frame Abu Shamat for this thievery. Now, Harun al-Rashid has been very good to Abu Shamat, feels completely betrayed, and says, right, going to kill him. Someone intervenes, finds a prisoner who's about to be executed, basically does a little switch, and Abu Shamat escapes to Alexandria. So back to Egypt, but a different part of Egypt. Yasmina rejects Big Bloat, or whatever.
Yes.
And basically gets put to work in the kitchens. But she's so lovely that all the other people in the kitchens basically do her job for her. She, by the way, she's pregnant with Abu Shamat's son. Abu Shamat's son is born. He is, who knew, absolutely handsome.
Yes.
And gets adopted by the family. He grows up to be even more handsome and has great athletic prowess, etc., etc., etc.
Yes.
He finds out about how his father was framed, even though he doesn't know it's his father that they're talking about. Tells his mother the story that he'd heard down the bar, because they're drinking somehow. And Yasmina puts two and two together. Right, your father has been dreadfully wronged, but he's been killed. So we have to avenge him. Luckily, there's a polo match coming up. So there's a big polo. So I think polo is it Persian or is it Indian? The origins of polo.
I told that, Let us know in the chat.
Anyway, this is the Persian version. Right. So it ends up with someone overhitting the chaka, whatever it's called. Abu Shamat's son intercepts it before it kills Harun al-Rashid.
Right.
Hits it back, breaks some guy's spine.
Right.
Harun al-Rashid says, "Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you whatever gift you want." And he says, "Well, I want revenge for my father." Now, who's your father? Abu Shamat. And this is the story. Tells him the story, which is not worth repeating here. And sorry, that is a phrase they keep using when they have to do a lot of exposition in these stories. And basically they say, Harun al-Rashid is now distraught because he killed someone unnecessarily. And then the guy that switched the people around, the prisoner, and Abu Shamat says, actually, he's not dead.
Yeah. I lied to you about this.
And he says, "Oh, brilliant, you lied to me."
Yes.
This is where it gets weird. Because the story then goes to Alexandria, and we find that Abu Shamat, whilst he was in Alexandria, had been kidnapped and taken to Genoa.
By pirates. Yes.
By pirates. Put to work as a monastery, and then meets what's that name? Princess Hussein Mariam,
who is the daughter of the king of Genoa.
Yeah.
So presumably, a Christian.
Very Italian.
He's been kidnapped, and all the other merchants on this boat were brought before the king of Genoa and asked, "Where are you from?" "Are you from Alexandria?" And each one said yes, and was promptly executed on the spot. And they got to Abu and said, "Are you from Alexandria?" And he said yes. And just as he was about to be killed, an old woman shows up and says, "Hold on, you promised me that I could get one of these merchants from these boats that you keep murdering people from to work in the monastery or in the church or something like that." And the king says, "Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Take this guy." So Abu goes to work for this old woman.
Okay. Mine sort of skipped that a little bit, but we've ended up in the right place.
Let me tell you a bit about what happens with the old woman at the church, because it's kind of fun. He says, she brings him back to the church and says, "So here's what you're going to do."
Oh, I got that bit. I got his chores at the monastery. Yeah.
Your chores, you're going to get up every morning, get the wood, bake the bread, clean everything, wash 300 bowls, make 300 breakfasts, distribute them to all these people. And a rare piece of actual kind of humor, he says, "Just take me back and have me executed." Because I can't do that. And she says, "You want to live, don't you? Look, there, you can just go to find other people out there and tell them that they have to do this stuff for you. And because it's for the monastery, they'll do it." And he finds some people and they do parts of the job. And apparently this works. 17 years later, something else happens. And I think that's where the story picks up. So he does this for 17 years.
I may have missed a bit, or that they may have not quite got the timing right. But it makes more sense. Because I did wonder where the time had gone. There did seem to be a mismatch. So It could well be me being an idiot instead of Abu for a change.
Well, people just grow up at weird rates in these stories.
So Princess Hussein Mariam comes across Abu Shamat, and she has a carnelian talisman. Now, I don't know if this is the same underwear jewelry, but it sounds like it's from the same makers,
same cinematic universe, yeah.
Except this one is magic. So we have magic back in the story, which is brilliant, and even better. It's not quite a flying carpet, but I think it's probably as near as we're going to get. It's like a traveling bed.
It's called a couch.
So I don't know if it's pretty much a flying. In my head, it was a flying carpet.
Yeah,
and there's a brilliant description because basically they go from Genoa to Alexandria.
Yeah.
All at once, the bed rose in the air without any jolting, and, going out by the great window in the dome, began its sail through the air more quickly than a bird, but with an easy and riding motion, in less time than it takes to take a piss, to come to earth in Alexandria.
Oh, God. Really?
Which is pretty quick.
That's yeah.
Faster than a bird, faster than a speeding bullet, as quick as a piss.
Yes, exactly.
Ends up in Alexandria, and then whoever's been dispatched to Alexandria gets there just in time for the guy who's been dispatched from Damascus to Alexandria to meet him and take him back, and they all live quite weird lives forever after.
Well, hold on, because who was with Hussein Mariam?
Oh, now you're testing me.
F me, because there's another weird twist. Is that she has, at least in my version, has a servant who is Zubaida, has somehow ended up in Genoa as the servant to this Christian princess.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I mean, carry on, because I'm gonna have to have a look at this.
You died and were buried, Zubaida. So how is it you came back to life and arrived here? Master, she told him, I didn't die. Rather, I was kidnapped by a powerful genie. who flew off with me and brought me here. When you, what you buried was a genie who had taken my shape and pretended to be dead. When you had buried her, she broke out of the tomb and went off to serve her mistress, Hussein Mariam, the king's daughter. As for me, when I opened my eyes after my shock, it was to find myself with this lady, who is the princess, Hussein Mariam. I asked her why she had brought me here, and she told me that she was destined to marry my husband, Aladdin Abu Shamar. She asked if I would accept her as a fellow wife, promising to share you with me on alternate nights. I agreed, but asked, where is my husband? She said, the fate decreed for him by God is inscribed on his forehead, and when he has fulfilled his destiny, he will very certainly come here. Meanwhile, let us console ourselves in his absence with songs and music until God unites us with him. Here's where it gets weird, yes.
In my version,
yes.
Zubaydah goes away with the captain, who was a friend of Abu Shamat, basically for protection.
Huh, so okay.
None of that happens.
Wow. Okay.
I feel I have been shortchanged with this translation. What I get is that they all go back, and Abu Shamat now has 3 wives: Zubaydah, Yasmin, and Princess Mariam.
Yeah. Does he? What happens to the king of Genoa in your version?
Oh, he's just in Genoa. I think they just leave him.
Okay, well, he gets off. He gets off better in yours, because in this one, he converts Hussein Mariam. She says, because she wants to be married to Abu Shamat. And he says, well, you're a Christian, and she says, well, I'll convert. And they go to her father, the king, and they drug him. And when he recovers from being drugged, Abu al-Shamat, our hero, remember, we're on his side, right? He just, he's got him tied up. He's been drugged, and he just cuts his throat, and they get on the magic couch and get out of there. So, look, we're on his side. It's okay.
You don't need to do all that if you've got the magic bed, surely.
I know. They're totally unnecessary. They also, when they're making their escape to Alexandria, they just cold-bloodedly murder a couple of tax collectors and steal their donkeys.
Isn't it? Wait a minute. No, isn't there, there's an airplane company called Wizz Air, isn't there?
Is there?
I'm sure there is.
Huh.
Maybe it's a European one, but
perhaps
it can't be a coincidence. Elaine, you feel free to join us on one of these anytime you like. Dip in, because as you can see, it absolutely doesn't matter where you start this. Nothing has consequences.
No, not at all.
I don't know if we ought to leave it here for today, because the nights that I've got certainly have minor numbered, only take us part way through the next story.
That's so. Yeah, well, in mine, it's kind of a series of very short stories. So we're kind of back to the way it started, with really short stories.
Well, I've got. Well, we have to check afterwards exactly where we are in case we have some massive variance. But I've got The Tale of Sympathy the Learned.
It's definitely not called that in here. We have The Hatim of Tay, and The City of Labtit, and Hisham ibn Abdul Malik and the Young Bedouin. But it's basically just a bunch of short stories until The Slaughterhouse Cleaner and the Lady, Harun al-Rashid and the Second Caliph.
You know what? We're going to have to sort of definitely compare notes, because as far as what I've got is The Tale of Sympathy the Learned, followed by The Adventure of the Poet Abu Nuwas, followed by all 7 voyages of Sinbad the Sailor. Okay,
so we've kind of been in sync for a long time, but now we are not in sync. I know that Sinbad the Sailor is in the 2nd volume here, so.
And you're not far from the 2nd volume, so we'll have to see whether we maybe cover different bits, and then get back on track together when it comes to Sinbad.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
But regardless, I think we can wait until next month to continue. But yeah, that was. It's a bit of a roller coaster.
It is. Yeah.
It does feel like nothing makes sense sometimes, but we've at least learned how to keep our eggs warm.
And our sperm, and how to thicken your sperm. Yep.
Yep. We've got to keep that. Yep, keep that sap thick. And we've learned a bit about is divorce in 8th century Iraq. So always helpful.
Yes.
Those tricky pub quiz rounds.
Right.
But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's still watching. It may sound like we are we're drunk, but I think this is just this was a real bizarre group of tales. So
it sure was.
I sort of hope it continues in this vein.
Yeah.
It's odd that it has had some periods where it gets historical or it's sort of moralistic or some sort of ancient mythical tales mixed in with this almost pantomime nonsense. And they're cross-dressing. It gets quite it's just like this is the Baywatch Nights edition of the 1001 Nights that we've got to here. So it's all getting a bit weird and a bit raunchy. So, we'll see where we are next month.
Yes.
But thank you, everyone who is still watching, and thank you again to Sandy. That was very kind.
Thank you, sir.
But until next month, bye.